Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this year's KYAC conference. Um, KYAC stands for Kentucky Young Adult and Children, so that's what we're here for. We're here to enjoy and celebrate all that it is youth and all that of us that surround it. And so I'm just really excited you guys are able to be here with us. We have live captioning, and I want to let you know that is available. I'll put the link to that in the chat if you're interested in seeing that. And today we have quite a treat. Heather Flynn is coming to us from Wayne County Public Library, and she's worked there since 2011, but around 2021, she started in her current position, being the Young Adult Librarian. She has a ton of different hobbies, and I think you're going to see them show up in her presentation. She is passionate about anime. She adores Cottagecore. I just think we're in for a special treat, and you guys are just going to get a ton of knowledge coming your way. All of these slides will be made available, and in addition to that, we are recording. So we will have these recordings available after we have the captioning edited and we, double check things. So it'll take a tiny bit. It won't be a very fast turnaround, but we'll get it to you quickly. Again, thank you for being here, and especially Heather, thank you for coming and doing all of this work for us. And I'm going to turn the mic over so you can just really give us the gift of your knowledge.
Thank you very much, Amy, and thank you for everyone that has joined today. Let me see. I might turn my video on here. All right. Can everyone see my video as well as primarily the presentation?
You're good, Heather.
Awesome. Okay. So as Amy introduced me, I've got a lot of different things that I've put into this presentation. I've titled it Anime, Cottagecore, and Beyond, Adventures in Teen and Young Adult Programming. Because, believe me, it can be an adventure. So a little bit about me. I've worked at the Wayne County Public Library since January of 2011. Before that, as a high school student, I helped out in a variety of different ways at the libraries of the local high school and middle schools. I think that this experience gave me a great glimpse of the library world, and honestly, I'm very glad I got a taste of something that I have truly enjoyed. I'm also now a published author with more stories and books planned for the future, including some children's picture books and fiction for various age groups. Since the time of me making this presentation, I have actually signed on for 2 more additional projects. I love being outdoors. Nice walks near trees or waterfalls are some of my absolute favorites. And I enjoy being creative, and I love to give our patrons the opportunity to express their own creativity as well. So some of the things we will be covering are Anime Afternoon, Cottagecore Wonderland, Boba Party, Oregon Trail Life-Size Game, Board Games and Brownies, Writers Club, Teen Film Club, DIY Spa Day, art program with a local artist, a 50s soda and ice cream shop, mystery programs, and so much more. Also included are some PDFs that we may or may not cover today that are bargain shopper tips, encouragement for when a program doesn't go as planned, and additional resources and some other goodies that I'll talk more about here in a minute. So we're going to start off with the passive programs. This is very short. We've done others, but this is just some highlights. So one that we did was May 22nd of one year was Sherlock Holmes Day. So I decided to put together a fun little mystery pack and included a mystery that I made myself. If anyone after today is interested in that, you can shoot me an email and I'll see if I can't dig up the file and get you a copy of it, even if it's just for fun. We also have done different game boards and stuff for our summer reading programs and winter reading. One of the things that I created in particular was these Monopoly boards. That is additional something that if anyone is interested in having a copy of it to modify themselves, I can absolutely get them that. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is one-time programs. So this was just a one-time and done sort of situation. If patrons liked it, though, we could always repeat it. So the first one of those I'm going to talk about is one that was pretty popular and started a little trend, was our boba party. We bought boba kits at our local Walmart. Just for ease, at that time, we just got the same flavor and prepared them while our patrons were watching an anime movie. Each patron got ingredients to make their own candy sushi. We gave them example photos and instructions. And on Amazon, we actually found some tiny little boba tea pendants that we used with some brightly colored tassels to make some absolutely adorable keychains. Really, this was the birth and origin story, if you will, of our anime afternoon. We had teens, young adults, and even a few adults really enjoyed this program. So our DIY spa day. I actually did this, I think it was last September. I played some calming music in the background. I used an essential oils diffuser to make a nice, refreshing smell in the air. And the patrons really enjoyed just getting to come and be pampered and just have a good time. Locally at our local Walmart, I picked up some snacks and ingredients for the patrons to actually make a custom face mask, which they enjoyed. And some of the ones that actually put it on kind of cracked up at the others, because it was a funny little experience. But on Amazon, I actually found bulk sets of lip masks, face masks in a variety pack, eye masks, and cute little fluffy headbands. Let's Grow Club. This was actually a thing. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of people growing giant pumpkins. Actually, in Allard, Tennessee, they have a festival down there where they compete to see if they grow, who can grow the biggest one. But my family had actually previously tried our hand at growing a giant pumpkin. So I used that prior knowledge and research that I had found online to combine into an information packet and a video that I played at the original meeting on April 8th. We had a pretty decent attendance at the initial event to pick up the kits and learn more about them. I did offer follow-up meetings for updates. However, did not really hear back from a lot of the patrons. But another thing we did was a food talk tasting. We actually had this program while we were offering a program for adults. The adults were able to go to the DIY trail mix and recipe swap, while the teens were able to come and take part in food talk. I had this fun little video where they were able to decide before the video showed whether it was a TikTok or not. So it was fun, and there were some gross moments because some of them were kind of grossed out by it, but they had a blast. Let's see. Eye candy art challenge. I had saw somebody online had actually made some pretty impressive art just using candy. They had actually made something that looked like a picture of Willy Wonka. We didn't hit that, but the patrons absolutely enjoyed it. I thought it was a good little Valentine's Day theme program without being too, lovey-dovey, as one might say. The teens had fun with it. I had one that, and I quote, made a chaos plate and then wanted to make another. She absolutely enjoyed herself. We had Skittles, M&Ms, and our glue, if you will, to put it to our canvas. Our canvas was a paper plate, and our glue was just some icing. But they enjoyed it, and it was a pretty cost-effective program with not much overhead. A Scooby-Doo party. So at the time of making this presentation, we hadn't had this yet, and this was actually a group effort between myself and our children's librarian. We offered a nice variety of items that we bought from Oriental Trading, and there were felt posters to color, games, etc. Had Scooby snacks, a couple of different varieties. I made a giant sandwich to display. That way, it was just made of cardboard, but a little fun decoration. And we did have 50 slots open, and I think we had a total of like 40 some people show up. So pretty good attendance overall. So that's it on that one. Now, there is a lot happening on this page, and I'm sorry if that's a bit distracting, but this was kind of some different things that we would have done in December of 22. So starting up in the left-hand side, that was one of our Teen Book Club books. We did 10 Blind Dates, which was a very cute little story set around Christmas. And right below that, you'll see an image of Book Club and Cookie Swap. I actually opened it up just to the attendants of the Teen Book Club to bring cookies, whether they wanted to get those store-bought or homemade, just bring the recipe for any allergies. We also showed Christmas in Connecticut. Of course, Polar Express. We had a teen Christmas ugly sweater party. So that was pretty interesting. We had people could come dressed in their ugly sweaters if they wanted, no pressure. We had cookie decorating, which we got kits from Walmart with everything we needed. We just got some additional icing and decorations. That went well. And actually the Christmas Hearts craft kit and the vintage snow globes craft kit were some items that we had already on stock that were just able to be accessed and used for passive little programs that people could take with them. So that was kind of a nice thing. Okay, so now we're going to transition into our repeating programs that happen generally every month, and this is our current ones that we are doing now. So our first is our Writers Club. Let's see, September was our first month, having 2 meetings a month, which was actually requested by our patrons, and we have had lots of people that have expressed interest. One meeting is still on the second Monday of the month, now at 2 p.m., and the new meeting is on a Wednesday of the month at 4 p.m. if we can at all. We're trying to open access to different people's schedules by doing this. This program has a fluctuating number of attendants, but life happens, and they often contact me if they are unable to come. I have gone through style variations on our flyer graphics, as you can see, that we use for our advertising. And as a writer myself, this program has a special place in my heart because this group helps support me and encourage me when I need it. And that is one thing I really appreciate about this particular program is whoever has a problem, the other members want to help solve it. And I just love that. Board games and brownies. So over the years that I've worked at the library, we have actually had various different versions of this program. One name that we used to use was Family Game Night. Most of the events under that name sadly didn't have a lot of attendance. However, I had the idea to add a catchy name and sweet treats to the mix, and patrons seemed thrilled at the idea. After all, who doesn't love food? In July of 2024, we had our largest group of 22 patrons. We may have actually passed that in the last couple months. We have been having awesome numbers, but this summer was our first time posting this program as an event on Facebook, and I do believe that this helped give us some extra attention. As we are continuing to grow our game collection, I try to have a game of the month and patrons have never seen at any of the meetings if they've come before. They are absolutely loving it, and I always love to see them as they come in, look at the sign on the board and go, "Oh, I want to play Cat Crimes," which actually just happened at our October meeting. So, anime afternoon. As we mentioned before, Boba Party was kind of the origin story of this. This program is actually made possible by Crunchyroll's library outreach program. I did include a PDF that goes over that. It's free, and you simply have to email them about renewing about every 180 days. I have personally started putting this on a Google Calendar with notifications. That way, I will get a notification to send them the email without, as I have done a couple times, been a little bit too close to having a meeting date and getting them the new memberships restarted. So I started out advertising what specific snack I would be having each time, but have since just changed to only specifying the snack on special occasions. For example, during June and July, I tried to make it extra special, what with summer eating, with fried rice, dumplings, and boba tea in June, and a ramen eating challenge in July. During this challenge, they not only had ramen that they had to try and eat, but also a cube of cheese, a slice of Spam, and a gummy worm. I also had some chopstick helpers that we made with our 3D printer that we actually got the file from Thingiverse. Activities for each month vary as well. In September, since we were watching a show about board games, I provided different print and play games and a DIY tricky triangle kit from Oriental Trading. In all sincerity, though, their favorite activity is coloring pages, either just inspired by the show or just random anime style characters. They love it. The patrons that I have are usually regulars at this program, and they absolutely love the opportunity to watch new animes while also not having pressure to interact with others. It's fun to watch the reactions as they're watching the shows. Okay, and here are some of my other flyers. I do preview all of the episodes before selecting what the anime of the month will be. I try to have warnings about the content on the flyer. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the little cat at the bottom. This came to my attention at my December meeting last year when I had some very young children come. So just for everyone's best interest, I started adding that as well. Okay, so we also have repeating that we're not actually providing at the moment. For those, 13 Film Club. This was a program that I was excited to offer that never had a lot of steady participation. I think probably a rebrand would be due if I started it again. We had this program for several months, and it was put on hold due to some unexpected closures at our library. When programming resumed, we ended up just going different directions. The teens did get an opportunity, though, to learn about the process of screenwriting, filmmaking, and we were steadily working towards giving them the opportunity to film their own short videos with the potential of editing. The library was providing camera, stands, lights, green screen, and costumes. Together, we would then work through the process of editing these videos and planned on starting a YouTube channel specifically for this purpose. Now that I'm talking about it again, it may have to come back again in the future. So, Teen and Young Adult Book Club. The books for this club were actually bought through First Book Marketplace and their book bank. Their website features an ever-changing selection of books that are very affordable. I try to alternate styles of books from month to month to give everyone an opportunity to have a favorite genre or style represented. As of August, we stopped having in-person meetings. This was a choice that was very hard to make, but to open open availability to other programs, the club meeting has now moved online to Google Classrooms. Each month, we post online and advertise in the library when we have new kits, which includes a book, discussion questions, and some activities related to the book. Patrons are always excited to pick these up, including actually some local social workers that give them to their younger clients. I never require these books to come back purely because it gives them something to have. So, Card Quest. This program was actually requested by one of our teen patrons as an alternative to Pokemon Club, which was then geared towards the age 4 to 12. We had several meetings of this program, but we had very small attendance. Teens and older, if they were interested, were welcome to join us whether they collected or played Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Disney Lorcana, or any others. At the program, they were welcome to show their collections, play, or even trade if they so desired. Now, Pokemon Club is actually being expanded to take in a larger age range and offer other opportunities for the older audience. And Teen Cafe. Teen Cafe was created as a way to offer teens a place to come ever so often and have freedom to do a variety of different things. In a lot of ways, I feel like this program grew into multiple different individual programs, for instance, board games and brownies. Attendance was not steadily great. If we had been able to offer it on a certain day of each week, I think we probably would have been able to get better attendance. Again, this was a program that was happening before we had an unexpected closure at our library, and it would be some time before we started having programs again. So it never came back, at least as Teen Cafe. Okay.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to pull up the part 2 here for you.
Thank you, Amy.
And of course, I pulled up part 1. Here we go. All right. You should be getting.
All right.
All right.
So, for the second part, we're going to be talking about summer reading year by year. And my first year was 2021. And a lot of our programs were pretty much all online. We had videos posted to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And each week I provided a themed activity kit for whatever the theme was. So this was our calendar, which I won't talk much about right now because we'll go into some more of them in just a moment. These were just some of the bookmarks that we created for promotions at our local schools. We just went for a simple black and white design because it was a good, cheap way, but it was also a nice little teaser. So these are actually some of our videos that we had for each week. These were the thumbnails. They would oftentimes give like a description of what was in the packet, and sometimes we would have guest stars to share tidbits with our viewers. For instance, I had a friend that is really into camping that came in on our Get Outdoors and Get Geocaching episode. Another thing we did was our Folktale Fridays. Every other Friday, I would read a folktale, and to make it more entertaining, and it's something I enjoy doing, I often threw in fun voices during these stories. This made the process rather interesting because I would have the children's programmer who was filming me cracking up behind the camera. 4 of the 5 folktales included animals in the story. Each of these videos ended with a moral of the story and a lot of times a little word of encouragement. So we actually had book spotlights during that summer as well. I did try to stick to the theme of something animal related each time. and included a few classics. This was actually the books that we used in June and July of summer reading. Thankfully, we did have a couple of animal-related books in our closet collection. So moving on to 2022. Of course, our theme that year was Oceans of Possibilities. This was a mixture of different little things. We did have some in-person activities, some to-go activities, as well as some online. These were some of our videos. We had some recipes and jokes, how to make slime, and talked about just some different interesting little topics. So, some of our specific things we done as far as like posting to things was our Sunday Funnies, which every Sunday we posted two jokes to our Facebook page. We decided to see the good and have a canned food drive for the House of Blessing, a local establishment that provides meals for low-income individuals. Our contest for 2022 was to get creative and make something regarding the ocean or water. We got several entries of different types, including a short story. So some of our events we actually had were our family game night, as I've kind of mentioned before. We had sand art, where we got the supplies from Oriental Trading. We had tie-dye. We got those kits at our local Walmart and provided tote bags. That way the patrons could make whatever kind of tie-dye design that they liked. So some of our other things that we had were Crashing Down on Mystery Island. This program was actually reworked and in 2024 became Surviving Mystery Island. We also had a luau party, which was just a typical luau style party with lots of themed snacks and games. We had card making, where we used some stamps that patrons had donated to us to make custom cards. And we also did a DIY ice cream making. This program actually followed our video where patrons were shown how to make ice cream without having an ice cream maker. Instead, it involved ice, cream, salt, and 2 Ziploc bags, and a lot of shaking. Having done this for the video, I actually requested that patrons team up. Most of them took me up on this and appreciated it, because it does take a long time, but boy is the result sweet. So moving on to 2023. Our theme for that year was Kindness is Timeless, and it was a fun twist to bring in a variety of decades and some non-specific programs. We also focused a lot on our local community. Every Friday, we actually had a field trip Friday, and patrons could meet up with us at different local places, and we would go on a tour. So some of the movies that we used that year, and all of these I did check with our Swank connection. They were all good. Each of these flyers had an in-library version with movie titles and images, and one to follow the guidelines. During our Nicktoon Rewind, we actually offered a DIY slime making program, which patrons absolutely adored. For the Time Warp Cinema Back to the Future interactive movie experience, each patron got a bag that had a script that showed them what to do at certain scenes, including eating an hour later or pulling out the tiny skateboard. Sippin' and Scoopin', a 1950s soda and ice cream extravaganza. We absolutely decked the room out in 1950s style, which we purchased from various online retailers, including Amazon. I wore a 50s inspired dress, and 2 of my coworkers that helped me out actually wore Pink Ladies costumes that one of them had found at a local thrift store. We had some 1950s slang and trivia contests for people to kind of take part in while they were waiting on their sodas. I purchased my syrup concentrate from a company called Prairie Moon for $3.95 for a 4-ounce bottle, and they went very far. Soda water, ice cream, both sugar-free and regular, and various ice cream toppings were bought from our local Walmart. Attendants came through the line where they could select what ice cream and toppings they wanted. They could eat this while a staff member went around and took their drink orders. They had 5 flavors to choose from, each in regular and sugar-free. One thing I did learn from this particular program was the result of doing it back to back. At 3 p.m., we had the program that was open to the public, but the hour before that, we did the same thing with our local senior citizen center. This was far too much in a short time span because we immediately had to reset everything. If I did it again, I would suggest we open the public program and the senior citizens program be on different days or at least several hours apart. But it was very good. These are some of my different flavors that we did. I actually got the little bottles that we mixed our syrup into just from Walmart in the grill section. Any of the logos that have a man and a woman on it were a good, easy way to see our sugar-free options. As far as the syrup itself goes, you can see a link on my bargain tip attachment. And if you scroll down on that page, there's a link to handy directions how to actually make the syrup. So Cottagecore Wonderland. This was a lot of fun. We provided several stations and patrons could meander around as they liked. We had wooden mushrooms for painting that we bought from Oriental Trading. Our food and drink table had hot water kettles and a variety of teas and hot chocolate. We had different snacks that we had got from different locations and some little tea sandwiches. I had one staff member helping attendants making their own little bottles with flowers and all sorts of cute little goodies in it. I did have a wax seal and a candle making station going. I did have a friend of mine that offered to pitch in, and she worked the wax seal station while I took care of the candle making. Our candle making ingredients included wax beads, a starter kit for candle making, some brightly colored stones, flowers, and some essential oil. Patrons really enjoyed making their own candles that were completely custom to them. All of these items were bought from Amazon. The wax seal set also came from Amazon. It came with envelopes, wax, and everything needed. We did purchase an additional wax melter that was electric powered. It was far more preferable because the other, with just a candle, smoked quite a bit. So our 80s prom mystery. I actually got this idea from the Programming Librarian Interest Group on Facebook. If you're not a part of that, I would definitely recommend. We did this as an after-hours event, which ended up definitely being best for this big of a production. We had the room decked out in 80s decorations, and we even included a balloon arch and a photo booth station. Since we were doing this as an in-person event, we wanted to make it more interactive than just being paper only. We decided to create witness videos similar to TV shows that have a witness talking where the image is blurred and the vocals are altered. This was rather entertaining and we mostly followed the script. We had a staff member's mother that actually offered to play our detective. She wore a trench coat, fake mustache, and a very smart British accent. I do include in some of my attachments, and I can send that to any of you, some of the different information and ways that we keep that in line, just making it a lot easier. So we also did a 90s nostalgia party. Lesson here, always check your flyers before printing. I didn't realize until I had already printed mine that I put them up, but I had forgotten to put a date on it. I did put a smaller piece of paper underneath it, indicating the date and time. But our biggest hit here was absolutely our perler bead crafts. This was such a big hit, and I think we could actually have a program where patrons only did perler bead crafts. We actually had one person that made a very nice VW van. For the food, I tried to go with things that seemed very 90s themed, such as Dunkaroos, Cosmic Brownies, and Pizza Bagel Bites. However, no one took me up on karaoke. Maybe the next time, though. So moving on to 2024. This was our first summer doing programs for all ages during both June and July. This actually made it much easier on all of our programmers. We started making monthly calendars at this point, so we had adopted a new calendar style, and we incorporated a lot of camping and outdoor adventures into our programs. As you can see, this is our calendars for June and July, and the first image is the front side of the calendar, and the next image is the back side, just giving a little bit more details. So a very popular program that we offer is our art program with a local artist. She is actually a teacher at the local high school, or actually not the high school, the middle school, and she offers to help us out with this. We've probably been offering this program for 15 plus years off and on. We usually have a theme like camping, lake, adventure, and she comes up with a test painting. Participants can see what she has created before on the right-hand side while she is recreating it alongside them. She gives step-by-step instructions throughout, and everyone is provided with all the colors needed. We actually also had this program again on fall break and had a great turnout, with patrons asking for a repeat event again in the future. So we're hoping to do that sometime in December. So Surviving Mystery Island, as I mentioned before, this had been a little bit of a program we'd tried before, but in this state, it actually became a little bit more. We had tiki sand art, tiki masks, and everything was timed. Patrons had to rush against the clock, and everyone had to finish before we could make it off the island. Diamond art keychains. This is a big one that even if I don't have time to talk about anything else, I do want to mention y'all this. I got these kits from Dollar Tree's website, and patrons went nuts over them. I had fantastic event attendance on this. We had great turnout. Amy, do I need to stop now and take questions?
I'd say go ahead and keep going. There's just one question I have for you.
Okay.
It's about the anime. So
Fantastic.
yeah, it's basically where do you find the animes?
Awesome.
When you get to that, but please.
So,
Yeah.
Amazing Race at the Library. This was a pretty fun program that we had different stations where in Australia you had to build a kangaroo, or in the United States you had to finish a Route 66 puzzle, and so much more. Again, any of this I can send to anyone that is interested. At each location, attendants were given a choice of tasks. However, there was one task that everyone was required to do, and we had snacks from different countries, and the winning team got a Globe trophy. This was another race against the clock sort of situation, very low cost, and patrons absolutely loved competing against each other, especially family against family members. They had an absolute blast. So, Young Adult Book Club, our summer reading edition, this summer we did Squirm and Daughter of the Deep. Since these were during summer reading, I did have special events. For Squirm, we did a color your own articulated wooden snake, and Daughter of the Deep, they were given the option to paint their own narwhal cutout. Both of these were from Oriental Trading, and we're reusing leftover supplies in future events. These were actually our final in-person book club meetings, and I only had one teen show up at the meetings. But people were very interested in picking up these kits, just not as interested in joining the meetings, which is totally fine and understandable. Oregon Trail life-size game. So one lesson I learned, if I was going to do this program again, I would not have everyone there at once, or at least not working through the room at the same time. While it was fun, it was also mildly chaotic for the size of the room. Each quote-unquote wagon train was provided with a few supplies for their journey, depending on which job they selected. Each bingo winner got a card that allowed them to get out of one calamity or illness. I had different various game pieces weaved throughout the room with numbers written on each one to keep them guided in the right direction. We also used a giant dice to roll, and they had to move that many pieces forward. Whichever game piece they landed on determined what they did next or what their fate was. I actually did have one patron, though, that requested if we did this program again to make it harder. Everyone did survive the Oregon Trail, although one group did end up going to every single river crossing in the game. These are a couple of the other things that I made for the Oregon Trail. On the left, you will see our Help Wanted Out West, which included the different jobs and what each one got. And on the right was our Oregon Trail certificate that everyone that did come got, even if they survived or not, but they all did. Finishing up are some of our pictures from this event. We had a shooting range that anytime a hunting thing come up, the patrons got to go to, and they absolutely adored that. I have also provided my game pieces and all of those files in my attachments. If there's any issue with that, I can send that to anyone as well. Our start and finish cards were actually from the Oregon Trail card game that is available on Amazon. And that's all I have.
Told you guys. Isn't that amazing? All right, so we have a questions coming in, and so I'll go back to the first one we had, Heather. Where do you find the anime? And their further comment was they have Swank movie license but haven't searched anime yet. So could you comment to that one?
Yes, actually, the great thing with that is with Crunchyroll, they also offer you a movie licensing through them. So anything on their platform you can show as a library.
All right. And then for another question, we have it in the chat. Let's see. Do you have tips for picking and choosing what programs to do and when you don't have a lot of time? So they have a few reoccurring teen programs every Monday. The team has so many ideas of what they want to do, but they want to keep the programs we already do on Monday. So the person asking is a part-time worker, so it's not always easy to do more programs. So they would love some help from you.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. And I think that's coming in from Nicole. If you would want to shoot me an email sometime, we can talk about that a little bit more, and kind of talk about some of your ideas there. And I'll help you however I can.
I just put your email there, but it keeps popping up with the mail too. So on the link that you see in the chat, remove that mail to part. I don't know why that keeps popping up. I've tried twice. I don't want to keep blasting it. Other questions? Well, Heather, there is so much to process here and so much amazing work that you've done to just really sit and just kind of go through and see what went work at our places. So thank you so much for this gift you've given us. It's like Christmas in October, man.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So thank you so much for all the work you did in putting together this amazing amount of information for us. Thank you for your generosity in sharing your email and offering to talk with us. Take a big breath. That was, y'all, this was Heather's first presentation. What do you think about that? I think she knocked it out of the park. Wow. I hope you come back and do more presentations for us. Just, yeah, I echo what's being in the chat. Just way to go. An amazing job. Wow. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you that are here to attend the sessions. We'll be starting again in 15 minutes with Jocelyn Corbin from Meade County. She's going to be doing Teen Connect and building a vibrant teen community at your library. Heather, thanks again. You are a rock star. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you to each and every one of you that came, and thank you, Amy, for helping me out.
You did it all. Well done. All right, I stopped the recording, and feel free to get up and stretch. We'll start on the hour at 11 o'clock Eastern time zone and 10 o'clock Central time zone. In room 2, if you're interested, is kid librarians. It's basically you're using tweens and making them junior librarians. It's a super cute program coming out of Anderson County. A lot of potential to pull in tweens. And then in room 3, we have Spanish for public library staff. So consultants from Colorado State Library and South Carolina State Library are coming to share with us their knowledge and resources about vocabulary and other information. So make your choices. Hope you stick around with us. And if you can't stay, it's all right. Everything's being recorded. See you soon.
Amy, this is Jocelyn. I'm on here now. Is there anything special you want me to do?
Hey, Jocelyn, let me raise you up so that you have control over everything. Now you are a presenter. Let's see. Let me pull up your slide so you can see it. And we're in the room so people know we'll be back. Here we go. All right, below the image is an arrow, and if you can advance it there. If you would prefer me to do it, I'm happy to do that for you. Just say next and do that, or Amy, and I'll do that, whatever you prefer. I will be okay. I will be monitoring the chat for you. The chat is located on your right-hand side are the double purple arrows. If you click on them, it opens up a window. The first icon on the left is chat, and if you want to watch the chat yourself, you're welcome to. But like I said, I'll watch it for you. And oops, I thought I stopped recording.